Hey, in this video, I'm going to show you 8 AI agent use cases within of N8N that you can start using or selling to businesses right away. We're talking everything from human-in-the-loop AI sales agent to resume screening agents to even invoicing parsing agents. And these aren't just theoretical ideas. They're real and practical use cases the members in my community are using right now alongside with hundreds of businesses. And in case we haven't met, my name is Michele, and over the past 12 months, I've helped over 40 businesses implement AI and automations and AI agents and taught over 17,000 people in the process, all starting with zero technical knowledge. So I'm going to walk you through each use case step by step. And if you stick around until the end, I'll even show you how you can get each system for free. With that being said, let's dive in. All right, so the first use case is a vector database AI agent. It starts with step 1, which is new documents into the Supabase. So if I go to my Google Drive folder, this is where you'd be dropping the documents that you'd want inside your database. We can go here, we can drop in a file. In this case, the file is a file full of information, so document information about the supposed company name called Novamart e-commerce store. And it has general information. It has accounts and logins, orders and checkouts, shipping, delivery. So it has a bunch of information about that specific business that we now want to store in a vector database right here, just by pressing this button. So this is the first step of the automation. And so what happens here is that the document is now vectorized. So if I refresh here, I can see that we have a bunch of new information about that specific business, which basically took the document right here. And what it did is that it split it. So it took one part and then the other part and the other part, and it vectorized it. So it made it into numbers. They're now very, very easily recognizable when we want to ask questions about that specific document, which goes into step 2, which is querying the vector database. And querying just means actually asking questions about that specific document that is now in our database right here. So I can chat to it and I can say, let's see what it had inside. Do I need an account to shop? Let's do this. And by the way, it wouldn't pull in the information from the Google Drive. It would pull in the information from our Supabase right here. So if I say, do I need an account to shop? What this will now do is it will talk to the AI agent. It will then query the vector database. It will then give us back an answer saying, no, you do not need an account to shop. You can check out as a guest. If I go here, I can see that it says, no, you don't need an account. You can check out as a guest. However, it recommended to create an account to track orders, save shipping addresses, and manage returns easily. Now, this is a insane use case because of the fact that a lot of businesses, especially e-commerce stores, they have a bunch of information, documents full of information that they will typically have a human respond to those exact queries. But in this case, they just have it all within a vector database that it can just ask questions over time. Now, this use case in specific is great for businesses that have tons of documents within their business that they usually have to, I guess, research, right? For example, this e-commerce store had a bunch of information about their actual store, which customers would typically ask questions on, or even their employees. Well, in this case, we automatically have an AI agent that we can just ask questions in, which pulls in information from that specific vector database, which again is just a document that comes from Google Drive. And then we can basically get answers within seconds instead of spending hours having to find it ourselves. And check out this video up here if you want to watch me build this step by step. All right, and the second use case that we have is a human-in-the-loop AI sales agent. It starts with a form, new lead intake. This is where the customer would fill out the form. So we said my name, my email, my company name, my intent. So what am I actually looking to buy? The budget, the product description. So in this case, we're looking for a human-in-the-loop AI sales agent and a timeline within a week. I'm going to press submit. What this will now do is that it will add the intake to our Google Sheet. It will then talk to the sales agent, which will create a sales email, which will then be sent to my email. And this is the human in the loop aspect, because now if I go to my email, I can see that I have action required, new lead with budget of less than 1,000. And I can look at the email that AI responded. And in this case, this would be the actual team member that would look at this. I can respond to it and I can say, so it also gives us a testimonial. It gives us results, which it gets from this Google Sheet right here, project and results that we've gotten so far with our company, which includes it into the email. Which is awesome to increase credibility. So let me say, don't ask a question at the end. Just reply. No, just ask them. Just tell them we are available for next week, Tuesday at 3 p.m. So I said, don't ask a question at the end. Just tell the user that we are available for next week, Tuesday at 3 p.m. As you can see, it asks a question now. Are you available for a brief call? I want to press submit. What this will now do is that it will classify the intent So the intent just means, is this a positive feedback or negative feedback? If it's negative, in this case, we denied it because we give it some sort of thing to come back to. It will then talk to the next AI agent, which is given the feedback and the email body of what it gave us. And then it makes the revision, which goes back here. And if I go to my email, I can now see that I have a new email, which is a revised email. And it says, we're available for a call next Tuesday at 3 p.m., which is the updated version. If I respond, I can say, yep, all good. What this will now do is that it will classify the intent again. In this case, it's approved, and it will send the message to the lead, which again is the same exact email, which is, hey, sales agent implementation available Tuesday, 3 p.m. And it gave us a full email with case studies as well. So we recently helped a real estate firm generate 20 leads in 5 days, creating 100K in pipeline. Additionally, we also automated 70% of the onboarding process for a lead generation agency, allow them to onboard 2x more clients. And again, this right here, this line came from this Google Sheet right here. So this database, which has the clients and the results as well. We helped a real estate firm to generate 20 leads in 5 days after working with us, which generated 100K in pipeline, as well as this. And here as well, we can see that we have the full name, the email, the company name, intent, budget, project description, the timeline, and submitted that as well, which is basically a storage place, their CRM, which stores the information for that specific client that signed the form. And now the client gets a very highly personalized email with results as well, that they're now able to use to be able to increase their conversions on every single person that comes through. Now, this AI agent is very, very good because it uses the logic path of AI agents, which is essentially a hack where we classify the intent. So we classify the feedback that we got. And if it's a negative path, then it goes here. It remakes the email, then it sends it back again. And this is really the key here because we set a variable that allows us to be able to reiterate everything. And then we have the human in the loop step, which allows us to be able to send information to whoever it is. Right? In this case, it will be our team member and say, hey, can you check this email? Can you check if it's good? Then we get feedback. So if the feedback is positive, then we approve and send a message. If not, then we go ahead and remake the email based on the feedback that we got. Now, this is great for any kind of business that has a form on their website or something else where leads, so in this case, potential customers, fill out that form to inquire about whatever they do, their service and so on. And once they fill out the form, now the team right now would manually have to write an email to them maybe after 2-3 days, whilst this system does it instantly, personalized with results for that specific client. And what this does for the business is that it increases the conversion. And conversion just means out of how many people that book in, so meaning that they fill out the form, how many of them turn into actual customers. Well, if a business responds to a lead within 2 to 3 days versus 2 to 3 seconds, personalized with results, then who's going to be more likely to convert the lead? Of course, the AI system. So that's exactly what this does. Right, so the next use case is a customer support AI agent that allows us to be able to answer any incoming emails from customers or potential leads, and we can answer any questions to that specific person. So the way it works is that we have to send ourselves an email. Then the email will be sent to the first AI, which will classify the email based on whether it's a promotional email or an actual email where a customer is asking a question. If the customer is actually asking a question, we send it to the AI agent, which is also hooked up, very similar to the RAG vector database AI agent, to a vector database right here, full of information about our company that it will then use to give an answer to that specific question that we got in the first step, and then generate a draft to our inbox before sending a Telegram message to our team, informing them that the email has been drafted to their inbox. That was a mouthful. So what we have to do here is go to the email. I'm going to send myself an email. I'm going to say shipping policy, and I can say, hey team, what is the shipping policy for the products that you guys have available? I'm going to say, Michele, I'm going to press send. What this will now do is that it will send it to the main inbox, which is the customer, or at least the company's inbox, where they receive all the different details or the different questions from customers. As you can see, we received the email, so shipping policy and so on. So now the team would manually have to go there and answer. But in this case, we have an AI agent that can do that for us. All we have to do is press execute workflow. This will take the email from the customer. It will classify it. It will then talk to the vector database to then get the answer before drafting it in our inbox and then sending us a message on Telegram. So if I go here to my inbox, to drafts, I should be able to see, if I refresh, that we have information on March shipping policy. And here we can see that we have the full breakdown of everything in seconds, right? All within the emails, right? Which the team would then have to go here. It would double check before pressing send, which will send the email to the customer responding to their question. And on Telegram, we received the new inquiry received from Michele Torti about shipping policy, the action email drafted to your email, right? And that will be the message that will be sent to our team. Of course, this message can be definitely improved, but it's sort of like a alert that, hey, a customer asked a question, our AI agent gave an answer. Can you go out and check it and obviously send the email back to the customer with all the details? Now, this right here, now that I think of it, could definitely be turned into a human in the loop sort of type of automation where we wouldn't have the Telegram message. We would just have an email sent to our team member telling them, hey, here's the email that we want to send to the customer. Are you good to go? And if they press yes, then we send them to the customer directly. If not, then we obviously give feedback and iterate over and over again. All right, the next use case is the ultimate personal assistant AI agent, which has access to our Google Sheet full of contacts, our emails, our calendar, and even writing blogs as well. The way it works is that we all start with Telegram. So Telegram is the thing that we use to actually chat to the AI agent. And what I can say here is basically take any action on Gmail, Google Calendar, or even write a blog. But if I go here to my contacts, I can see that I have Michael James or even James Lowe. So let's do James Lowe. Send an email to James Lowe and also schedule a calendar event. Okay. Can you send an email to James Lowe and also schedule a calendar event with him for tomorrow for dinner at 5 p.m. In the email, mention that we have dinner at 5 p.m. as well. And also, can you write a blog about why horses in Canada are stronger than horses in the United States and send the blog back on here. This will now go to the actual AI agent. If I execute this step, this will now take the inquiry. It will then talk to the ultimate assistant, which will then be able to then make decisions as to what we have to do. But as you can see here now, it's downloading the file. So the file is just the audio message. It's transcribing the audio message. So basically turning it into text. It will go to the contact agent to get the contact of James Lowe. Then it will then access the different other AI agents. As you can see, it's accessing all three at the same time, which is insane. It then sent an email, it made a calendar event, and it also now is using Perplexity to research the topic before sending it our way. As you can see that now it finished and we got a message back on Telegram with a full blog on why Canadian horses are stronger than US. That's a good question, actually. Built for survival, climate champions, genetic advantage, the verdict. That's a load of bullshit. And then we go to our email right here. We can see we have dinner planned for tomorrow. So hi, James. Just a quick reminder that we have dinner at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Looking forward to it. You can obviously delete this. This is called an N8N attribution. It's basically the way that N8N marks themselves. But you can obviously delete this so it's just clean. And if I go to our calendar, I can now see that I have dinner 4 to 5 p.m. tomorrow, James Lowe as well. So this AI agent is great for anybody who has different admin tasks that they want to, I guess, get done, like emails, calendar, blogs, and whatever it is. And so they have access to all these tools just within a single input. So just within Telegram. It's sort of like you're talking to a virtual employee, because that's what it is, right? A virtual employee that takes actions on your behalf just by giving it a simple prompt. All right, the next use case is a blog generator system. It's a system that starts with a form. And the form asks, what is the blog topic? So in this case, we can do why AI is not really going to take everybody's jobs. The audience would be 50-year-olds, retired veterans from Russia. And the tone of voice will be humorous. And we press submit. What this will now do is that it will send the inputs to the newsletter expert. So in this case, it drafts the blog newsletter using Perplexity. It actually does research as well. Now what it's doing is it's generating an outline, because every blog newsletter has an outline that we have to do. And now you can see the outline is split into 4. So 4 different items. I guess this would be the heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4. So the different parts of the actual newsletter. Now it's going to the research agent, which is now doing more research based on each sector of that newsletter, which is 4 sectors. So 4 items. And now what it's doing is that it's taking all the information, it's merging it. Now it's using an editor to make sure that it cleans up all the different things within that specific blog. So we're now able to use it. Then it created a title. It put everything into a Google document before sending us the full blog. If I go to my email here, I can see that I have an email from Daily Newsletter saying AI taking your jobs. Ha, not so fast, comrades. And I have a fully optimized blog with hyperlinks as well that we can then push, which will take us to actual articles that we can read for our specific research. And we can have this being again, a daily newsletter full of information based on whatever input we give it. Now, this kind of system can be spun up in multiple different ways. This is great because it generates content for you, plus doing the research as well. And as you can see here, the actual blog has a ton of research, right? A ton of research from credible sources, because we are also putting that step of making sure that the Perplexity, they prioritize sources that are credible versus others as well. And the format is pretty good as well. And we have the full sources here. So we have CBS and we have a ton of different sources that are credible in what they say, which are great for us to be able to include it in the blog. So we're alarmed. Another way that you could have this is actually taking out the manual input, because right now it's manual. So we have to manually put the topic and so on. You could have something where it's a spreadsheet that has different topics for the week, and it goes through the topic every single day, or different topics every single day, and it automatically sends everything to the AI agent. You basically wake up with a fresh new blog that is sent your way. All right, the next use case is an AI resume screening agent, which starts with a job application, which is an investment banking job. I want to put my name. So I put my name, I put my email, my phone number, and my resume as well, which is the resume that we're going to use to basically apply for the job. I'm going to press submit. What this will now do is it will send it to Google Drive to upload, then download, and then extract text from that specific document, then check against the requirements for that specific job, the responsibilities, the analytical skills, and so on. And then use an AI agent to check the CV that we came through, then check the actual job requirements, and give us a score, a final score, before sending the confirmation email to the applicant, and then putting everything into a database. So if I go to my email here, I can see that I have, thanks for your application, thanks for applying, we received your application, and our team will be review it shortly. And if I go to my tracking database, I can see that under, in this case, high ranking, we have my name, my last name, my email, my phone number, my application date, the resume that we used, right, to be able to apply. And as well, the strength, weaknesses, risk factor, reward factor, overall fit, and justification. And these are full-on paragraphs explaining different aspects of his application and how it compares to the qualification of that specific job. Now, this is great for any kind of business that has to hire. So recruitment agencies or any kind of business or agency that is hiring, actively hiring different people, but they don't have the time to keep reviewing these CVs and making sure that they are fit for the job or not fit for the job. And they just simply want a database full of all the best applicants, all the low, medium, and higher applicants as well, so that they're able to spend less time on applicants that are low ranking and more time on the applicants that are high ranking without having to actually see the CV. They can just see the strength, the weaknesses here, the risk factors, and all the information as well. The next use case is an invoicing parsing AI agent. It starts with an invoice on this Google Drive, which is consisting of the line item, the person, the company name, the address, the email, invoice number, and so on, and a bunch of different details. What we do then is we run the automation. So this will be run maybe every other day, every other week. And once this is run, we can download the file. We then extract the information or the text from the file. It will extract all the different variables. So line item, invoice number, and so on. It will add it to our invoicing database. And then using the AI agent, it will craft an email that we can then send to our billing team, informing them that the invoice has been parsed. And if I go to my email, I can see that I have the invoice 109 received from Lucas Martin. Dear billing team, we have received the invoice 109, and it tells us all the different details of that specific invoice, which is great. And it also gives the link to the Google Sheet, which contains the actual details as well. Now, this AI agent is great for any kind of business that has to process invoices on a quarterly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, and so on, but they just don't have the time to do it themselves, right? Which is why AI can play a role in making sure that all your invoices have been parsed. Parse just means that we have taken the invoice, extracted all the text, and extracted the variables within that text, like name, like company name, like email, and so on, which you can then use to then add it to a database or maybe send an email to someone else. This saves hundreds of hours for companies who are actively doing invoicing on a regular basis, just by having this system right here. And finally, we have the email classifier AI agent, where we receive new emails. We classify them based on whether they are priority, customer support, promotional, or finance and billing. Then we use other AI agents accordingly to create a response before drafting them in our inbox. But if it's high priority, we send a message to our Telegram channel. Hey, this is urgent. Our business is about to fail if you don't join the meeting in 5 minutes. So you can see here, we have an email saying urgent. This is urgent. Our business is about to fail if you don't join the meeting in 5 minutes. Well, this should trigger the high priority, of course. So if I go here, I execute the workflow. This will now classify the email and it will send it up here to the high priority stage and then send us a message on Telegram. The message will be urgent email from Michele Torti stating that their business is about to fail if a meeting is not joined in 5 minutes. You can see the email is also put under priority right here. under the urgent tab as well. So everything's categorized in our inbox. All right, but if you get a email like this, says question, can you guys please tell me what you do, service, etc. If I press run, this will now get the new email, customer service. It will then draft an email to then be able to draft it to the customer itself. If I go here, I can then see on the drafts that the email that was tagged as support. So dear Michele, thanks for reaching out. We do XYZ. If you have any specific questions or need details about a specific service, please let us know. We're here to help. Best regards, James from ABC Corp. And this is what it does for most of the emails right here, whether they are customer support, promotional, finance and billing, and even high priority as well. Now, this is great for any kind of business that has tons of emails that they have to manage, but they don't have the time or the sanity, because we all know when we get spammed with emails, what that looks like on a consistent basis, to be able to organize them and actually reply with clear answers as well. And what this does is that it saves the business hundreds of hours, depending, of course, on the amount of emails that they get. But also when they log in into their email account, they're not scared, they're not overwhelmed, because everything is categorized based on priorities. So whether it's urgent, whether it's customer support, whether it's promotional, or whether it's simply finance and billing. And if you want the blueprint to every single system that we went here today, make sure to check out the first link down below, which will take you to my free school community. You can go to the classroom section, you can go to the templates vault, and right here under N8N, you'll be able to see the new video. Right, in this case, you can download the N8N automation blueprint, which will import it into your own account. And if you have no clue how to do that, no worries at all. I even have a tutorial right here, which shows you step by step how to do it. And if you apply and you get in, you also get access to the AI Automations 101 course, which is a very, very, very comprehensive course that takes you from a real beginner in AI automation to someone who's actually able to build automations for themselves or for other businesses. But as a disclaimer, we're not taking everybody. As you can see, we have about 1,000 and almost 200 people on a waiting list. So please, please, please put some thoughts into your answers before you apply, and I'll see you on the inside. All right, so there right there is the 8 insane AI agent use cases inside of N8N. And check out this video up here if you want to master N8N just by using 17 nodes. With that being said, I hope you found value from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.